They did it again. They do fumble, but they make it to the finish line. Now, there were a lot of expectations and they deliver on the ones they had set. But one thing is for sure, Bollywood cannot remake this. Well played, Jeethu Cheta. So let's talk about Drishyam 3, written and directed by Jeethu Joseph. Now, this was a very anticipated film of the year from Malayalam cinema. It has become the biggest global franchise at this point, has been remade into multiple languages. Even the sequels have been remade, and even the remake for part 3 in Hindi is gonna come out soon this year. Now, the first thing to note here that director Jeethu Joseph always looks at the Drishyam franchise as a family drama. That's how he has always made them, and that's how I approach these films. You can say part 3 is more intense than the others, but still it is a drama. Whereas the Bollywood version, except the first one, is made like a thriller. And they've even added their own things to make it that way, which I've actually liked. Now, I've done comparison between the original and the remakes for both the films. You can check them out. Now, in this video, there will be no spoilers, don't worry. But I will get into the basic themes and the character analysis. If you want to go blank, just know this. In the first film, we were so rooting for the family that we just wanted them to be saved. And when that happened, we totally accepted it. It made you happy. But the moment they continue the story, they have to make up more things, which can have logical issues and loopholes and can be way less convincing than before. It may also feel far-fetched, which many people felt for part 2. And that happens for part 3 also. It will feel more far-fetched. So if you are able to get immersed in this journey, you will not be affected at all. But if not, then the film may not work for you. Also, do some homework, not watching both the films, but knowing which actor played which character. Because I couldn't remember some, and it really took me a long time until the end to realize, oh, this was that character. Maybe it was also because I am not familiar with every actor, so their faces are not registered in my head as it would be for a Malayali who has grown up watching them. Now let's get into the deeper themes of the film. In the first film, this family is put in a situation, and George Kutty with his smartness takes his family out of the situation, and we see how he does that in action. Now in part 2, George Kutty already knows that the thing will come back to haunt him, and he already has a plan in place. He's just waiting to execute it, and then we see that in action. Now in part 3, George Kutty doesn't know what's coming next, from where it will come, what's gonna come and harm his family again, and this time that makes him anxious, and the film depicts this really well. There are sequences where you may feel nothing is happening, it's just family interacting with each other, but there are layers to that scene. Slowly they are giving you hints what's going on with George Kutty. He's more lost, he's not in the moment, he's making mistakes, he's being careless. None of the things we would associate with him over the time we have spent around him. What George Kutty has done, we may imagine him as a mastermind, but he's not that. And I actually wanted to make a video analysis about that, so if you want that, let me know in the comments. It's actually not his intelligence that keeps him one step ahead of everyone, but his will to save his family at any cost. And you see in the film how good-hearted person he is. He wants to help everyone. He's even willing to help people who went against him. He has no grudges at all at anyone. Instead, himself, he feels guilty about what he has done, how he's causing pain to others around him. That is eating him up. What I like about Jeethu Joseph with this story is that he wants to explore the consequences which will happen to this family. That incident that happened defined their life. In the first film, they saved themselves, but that's not the end. Life continues. As long as they live, they'll never be free. They'll never have peace. Something or the other will keep coming back and haunt them. And that is what we are seeing in every new installment. And that is actually the most realistic thing the film is portraying. That the society around them will never let it go. They will always have a target on their back. And this film shows how the elder daughter is unable to get married. The rumors that are being spread around about her. The whole family has become a thing of gossip. And because of all this, George Kutty is getting very overprotective about them. And that is affecting his mental health. If in part 2 we saw how the family is struggling, in part 3 we are seeing how George Kutty is struggling. And the film spends a lot of time on all of this drama. We explore the family dynamics. There's a big clash between the mother and the younger daughter. They have very different ideologies. And this has been the thing with all 3 films. It's just that when the original came out, it was, pre-social media era. Then the second one came out during COVID. It was directly on OTT. Again, it had that crazy ending. And now the third one is releasing in the theaters. It has that long runtime. And it's coming out of the time when people really don't have patience. Today, people want something big to happen every 5 minutes. And this is not a film that delivers on that. You can say the runtime is long for the film. There are some things which can be edited out. It can become more crisper. But if you do that, you lose the drama. The character dynamics will get affected. You will not get to see the hell this family has to live forever, which is a very big part of the story. Now, Jeethu Joseph is very sharp with his writing. He neatly establishes everything at the start and then pays it off by the end. Nothing happens out of nowhere and at random. Even the things that happened in the previous film, they have a lasting impact in this film also. Things come around. It's not over. Like they continue that angle that he has a movie theater and wants to be a producer and the movie he wanted to make. And with that, they actually go quite meta with what's happening around Malayalam cinema nowadays. The talk between producer, director, distributors, actors, how all that game works. And that shows you that the life of these characters doesn't stop. It's not that just because of that incident, they'll not do anything in their life. They will keep growing up, but sadly that incident will never leave them. And that leads to some frustration in the film also. You just don't feel frustrated from the angle of the family, but also by the writing. You just get fed up of it, like just enough how much this family has to go through. And then some things happen which don't really follow the logic as in the things they are trying to do to catch the family, like these things will never be proven in court. So why are they doing this? In a way, it's like the flexing of the power of the authority, that even after all this they are still pressing hard and trying to use what they can to catch these criminals. And that has been a constant theme in all the films. And it's very interesting that actually they are doing the right thing. If you follow the narrative through their view, they're actually trying to catch the criminals who are always running away. We should be actually rooting for them to catch the criminals. Even if they have to bend the rules, we would be fine with that. But that's not the case, because it's opposite. We're getting angry that they're always able to harass this family. And as we keep going on this path, the film started to lose me. As we saw the reveals, as we saw the players who are behind George Kutty this time, the plan they are making to tackle him, it was just not working for me. But the way they wrap it up all by the end, I was totally back. Because by the end, at the core, it's about that emotional weight. And because of that, everything just fits together. I was just back into feeling for the characters, feeling for the family. The ending may not be as satisfying as we have seen in the previous two films, because there George Kutty is not outsmarting the people in power, but also us, the audience. And that gave us a different high altogether, because we never saw it coming. But this time around, things are a bit different. And what is that? We will discuss in a spoiler discussion. Now, one thing I'm not a fan of Jeethu Joseph is the old school filmmaking. Some of the choices he makes as a director, the way some of the actors perform their roles, it just makes them very one tone. Like there's a character in this franchise who takes a big turn in this film, and I felt the performance was just too basic and simple. You needed more depth, you needed more weight in that to work. Maybe it's also a Malayali thing. You are more attached to these characters, to these actors, to these people. It will work way better. Whereas me as a non-Malayali, I'm unable to connect to that. See, the truth is that I have grown up watching the Hindi version. That's the first time I experienced Drishyam's story. And I have seen the Hindi version of these films more than the Malayalam version. So, when you say Drishyam, what I imagine are the Hindi actors and the characters. And when you have grown up like that, there are certain things that will not connect. Now, how far can this Drishyam franchise go? As far as George Kutty can go. Because Mohanlal keeps delivering, and this time, as always, he just delivered. Talking about a family that has committed a murder, there's another Malayalam film which does the same thing but in a very unique way. Check out that review here. Let me know your thoughts about Drishyam in the comments below without spoilers. We will do a spoiler discussion later. Let me know that too if you want. More reviews coming on the channel, and I'll see you next time.